It's Pastor Steve with a word study, number 5, and we are looking at places, people, events in the Nelson's Bible Dictionary and kind of learning together. The word today is manna, and it is the food that God provided miraculously for the Israelites in the wilderness during their exodus. And we find that early in Exodus chapter 16 and Numbers chapter 11. And as long as the Hebrew people wandered in the Sinai Peninsula, they were able to gather manna from the ground each morning. They ate the manna for 40 years until they came to the border of the land of Canaan. And according to Joshua chapter 5, the manna did not stop until the Israelites had crossed the Jordan River, had camped at Gilgal, kept the Passover, and had eaten the produce of the land. So what is it? Well, the question asked by the astonished Israelites led to the name manna being applied to a small round substance as fine as frost. Manna looked like coriander seed, it says. It tastes like wafers made with honey or pastry prepared with oil. Well, the manna appeared with the morning dew. The Hebrews were instructed to gather only what was needed for one day, because the surplus would breed tiny worms and would spoil. That is, they got greedy. Well, on the 6th day, however, the Israelites were permitted to gather enough for 2 days. They were forbidden to gather manna on the Sabbath. Well, miraculously, the 2 days' supply of food gathered on the 6th day did not spoil. Well, manna could apparently be baked, boiled, ground, beaten, cooked in pans, and made into cakes. Well, Moses even commanded Aaron to put a pot of manna in the Ark of the Covenant. So future generations might see the bread of heaven on which their ancestors had been fed for 40 years. Well, the New Testament records that inside the most holy place in the temple, the Ark of the Covenant contained, among other things, the golden pot that had the manna, and that is Hebrews chapter 9 and verse 4. Well, numerous attempts have been made to identify manna with substances found in the Sinai Peninsula. What's amazing is, rather than accept the miracles from God, rather than to admit that, hey, just God did this great thing that maybe couldn't be explained, people try to find, ways that could have happened naturally. Let me just give you a couple of them. Well, insects living in the bush produce a small, sweet substance during the early summer that had been identified as manna by some scholars. Well, other suggestions have included resinous gums that drip from some wilderness shrubs. But such substances do not resemble the manna that the Hebrews gathered and ate. Now, manna certainly was nourishing, but it cannot be identified with any known food. It was a visible reminder to the Hebrews of God's providential care for his people. Now, God is still working miracles, isn't he? As he cares for us. And many of you could testify to that fact, that there were things that happened in your life that could only be explained by the miraculous power of God. God was alive back at the time of the manna, and God is still alive and well today. God bless.